cow, what's with all the cops today here? Lots of interesting tech-related news too, and crimes related to drones. Kind of interesting. Now, the first interesting thing I read was how Adobe's gonna finally kill the Flash plugin. Well, it's about time, I think. I guess that would affect things like, you know, YouTube videos, because a lot of people actually still use Flash, but you can actually use it without it. And that's one of those security hazard things, in my opinion. It's actually one of the reasons why computers slow down so much, just because of that old tech for the most part. This one was actually kind of interesting, but maybe a little scary. It says China developing an AI system to predict criminals. I guess it's based on things like gesture, your facial expression. With all that, it determines whether or not you have intent to do something, I guess, like devious. Just based on that, I guess they could like say, hey, you're under arrest. I guess we're getting closer and closer to Minority Report, huh? I don't know, I would think the machines or AI are only as good as, I guess, people's personal bias. Like, if this guy thinks a person that looks like this is a criminal, then that's what the computer will be programmed to determine. So I don't see how they would do something like that in a unbiased way. Although, interestingly enough, that then led to some news about criminals using drones, I guess, to carry cell phones and marijuana and all that. Apparently there was a drone that crashed near a prison yard. Although I was kind of surprised reading this article that they didn't actually make a big deal about it. They just kind of implied like, yeah, it's just a new thing they're doing. Like, you know, develop a way to stop it in the future, just be aware of it, but they didn't go crazy like, a reason to ban it. Because that's just an example. I mean, people do different things. It's just a piece of tech. Some people use it for a good way and some people use it a bad way. I was reading some of you guys' comments, and one of you mentioned, for example, for things like that public session, that one of the main concerns is not so much about things like distance, but the stuff that they're forcing, you know, a recreational drone flyer, even with a tiny drone in an open field, they want you to register for things like insurance, get training and all that. Like, it seems like an overkill, and it doesn't really seem as about safety. So it kind of made me wonder, like, well, what kind of like training stuff is there like nowadays? Because I even said before I started to fly the drone, I actually tried to find a formal way to get trained, but it didn't seem like anyone really offered anything to teach you how to fly in general that would be related, like as a recreational flyer. So I was reading this one here. Apparently it's pretty recent. It says the fall terms from September 6th to December 2nd, 2017 from a Brandon University. And it's supposed to teach you about UAVs, like online too, by the sounds of it. It even says here, this course is designed for new or experienced UAV operators who are now required to complete a UAV pilot ground school under Transport Canada regulations. I'm like, this is new to me. When did they make this mandatory? Like, do they know something that we don't? But as I read this, one of the first things that came to my mind is this all this course is teaching you? What not to do? You're just telling people like, don't do this, don't do that. You're not actually teaching people how to fly it safely. I was even thinking, just think about this, like the fact that, let's pretend it's a 14-year-old kid wanting to fly in an open field, perfectly safe, just wanting to fly for fun. You're telling me here, like for example, you need to learn things about meteorology, weather constraints, human factors, pilot disciplines, airspace mission planning, SFOC, application process. You're expecting people to go through all this just to fly it for fun? Like, in my opinion, this is just completely whack in many ways. Anyways, maybe more thoughts about this after martial arts class. Okay, I got caught up with a lot of stuff, and yeah, there's no light. I'm trying to finish my thoughts about this. But in generally speaking, again, when you're reading this course, it sounds like it's to train you before you actually fly anything, period. I mean, it even says here, includes a comprehensive review of the rules and regulations governing the operations of UAVs for commercial and research purposes. All the things to get the SFOCs. I don't know, in so many ways this reminds me of like in other industries. Like it says here, the instructor is registered with TC as a UAV ground school instructor and is experienced UAV pilot and trainer. I mean, since like drones and the tech is such an emerging technology in many ways, where everyone flies everything differently, sometimes it makes me wonder, well, what makes this guy more qualified than the other? I don't know, maybe it's just me, but sometimes it reminds me of like, say, here, for example, when people are learning film courses, all the guy says is they're from LA, then automatically people assume, oh, they must be great, like they must know everything. Like here again, like how do you distinguish? Because I would imagine someone flying something like maybe, I don't know, like a Mavic versus an FPV racer is completely different. So how would that guy be as good as the hobbyist guy that flies it every single day? I mean, it's still such an emerging market in my opinion. I mean, in many ways, am I oversimplifying this, like for a recreational flight? I'm just thinking for all that time and money they're asking for people, I could probably do a lot better job in general. Just give me like an open field or whatever that Transport Canada says is perfectly okay. I'll bring the person there, very basic stuff. Don't fly near airplanes, don't do stupid stuff, and then spend the rest of the time actually teaching them how to fly it safely. Is that too simple? I just think, again, like if you expect someone that's flying it for fun, like a really tiny drone, like whether it be an FPV racer or whatever, in an open field, or even like say indoors, that's perfectly safe, you expect them to go through all of that? This doesn't make sense to me. But one of the concerning things is how they say this is like a requirement from Transport Canada. It's like, do you guys know something that we don't? Is that meeting or whatever basically nothing? Like they already made their decision and we're just there for a show for the most part? I hope not, anyways. Right, I was able to capture some footage. I actually didn't know if I had time to do it afterwards. Lucky I did. So here's what I got. Right, see you guys later.